Ah, you still think that being nice, always available, and showering her with attention is going to get you far with women. What a sweet illusion. Let me tell you something. While you're bending over backward to please her, she's laughing behind your back and enjoying every second of your desperation. Yes, my friend, that's exactly what's happening. And do you know why? Because you haven't realized that the real world isn't a fairy tale, and women aren't defenseless princesses waiting for Prince Charming. They are perfectly capable of recognizing a weak man when they see one, and believe me, they lose interest faster than you can type a message asking, "What happened?" So, if you think you're winning by being the nice guy in the story, it's time to face reality and watch this video until the end. Because here, I'm going to show you how to stop being the doormat she steps on without mercy, and start being the man she respects, or better yet, the man she's afraid to lose. If you're not ready to hear the truth, you'd better stop here. But if you're tired of being played for a fool, then my dear, you've come to the right place. Let's change the game once and for all. Let's go. Number 1, the desperation for attention. Look, let's be very direct here. The biggest poison you can inject into your love life is this pathetic desperation for attention. Seriously, do you really think that by always being there, sending messages all the time, wanting to know every insignificant detail of her day, you're going to earn points? Man, you're begging for attention, pleading to be noticed like a dog chasing crumbs. And what happens when you do that? You become irritating, predictable, and worst of all, completely disposable. Yes, disposable, like that app she downloads and never uses again. And do you really believe in the illusion that when she doesn't respond, it's because she's busy or simply didn't see it? Please, right? She saw it, but chose to ignore you because she knows you're there, always available, ready to chase after her. And guess what happens when she realizes you're just another doormat? All the respect she could have had for you goes down the drain. Without respect, my dear, there is no attraction. It's as simple as that. Respect and attraction are like best friends. If one leaves, the other soon follows. Now, if you think that insisting will make her value you, you're joking. What you're doing is reinforcing in her mind that you're just a pastime, a disposable toy. Every desperate message, every failed attempt to set up a date is a reminder to her that you're always available, without demanding anything in return. And when she realizes that, what do you become? Predictable, boring, worthless. She doesn't need to make any effort because she knows you're there, ready for anything she wants. And this, my friend, is the fastest route to insignificance. Want to know what really drives a woman crazy? Ignore her. That's right. When she disappears and you do the same. No messages, no contact. Just keep living your life as if nothing happened. It messes with her head in ways you can't imagine. Suddenly, you're no longer the faithful puppy that's always available. You become the guy she can't have with a simple snap of her fingers. And that, my friend, is what will set you apart from the other desperate guys. But don't think this is just a game to make her chase after you. That's not what I'm talking about. This goes much deeper. This is about valuing yourself. Understanding that your life shouldn't revolve around a woman who doesn't even give you the attention you deserve. It's about having ambitions, goals, and interests that go beyond any person. When you start focusing on yourself and stop worrying so much about pleasing someone who doesn't care about you, you take back control of your life. And you know what happens then? She notices that the control she thought she had over you is gone. She starts wondering why you're not chasing after her anymore, why you're not as available as before. And then, my friend, she starts to care. She starts wanting to know what's going on, questioning whether she lost something valuable. Suddenly, you become a mystery, something she can't control so easily. And that's what women find incredibly attractive. So the next time you feel that desperate urge to send a message or try to set up a date, do this. Take a deep breath, put the phone away, and go do something else. Hang out with friends, hit the gym, work on your projects. Do something that makes you feel good. Let her feel the absence of your attention. Let her realize what it's like not to have you always available. And then you'll see things change. Remember, this isn't about manipulation, but about self-valuation. It's about showing that you have a rich and full life, with or without her. In the end, she's the one who should be chasing after you, not the other way around. And that's exactly how you turn the game around. Instead of being the guy who chases after, you become the guy who is chased. And that, my friend, is what will make all the difference in your love life. So, stop being desperate for attention. She should be the one chasing after you. And when you understand this, you'll become unbeatable. It's time for you to take the reins and show that, in this game, you're the one who controls the outcome. Number 2, you are replaceable, but so is she. Let's be realistic here and set aside any illusion. You are replaceable. Yes, that's right. And if that bothers you, it's because you still haven't understood how things work in the real world. In the game of love, no one is irreplaceable. There is no such thing as the only person capable of making you happy. If you're living with this romantic and outdated idea, I'm sorry, but you're deceiving yourself. While you're desperately clinging to this ridiculous fantasy that she's the only woman worth your time, she's already figured out long ago that if you exit the stage, there are plenty of other guys ready to take your place. And this mentality, my dear, is what brings you down, makes you crawl for any scrap of attention she decides to give, while she calmly evaluates her other options. Now, I'm going to tell you something you may not want to hear, but it's necessary. If you don't wake up and realize that there are thousands, yes, thousands of other women out there who can offer you what you truly deserve, you'll keep crawling through this unbalanced relationship, living like a ghost, always available, always accepting the leftovers. And don't be fooled. She knows you're there, ready to take any crumb she decides to throw. But the moment you finally understand that just as you are replaceable, so is she, everything changes. I'm not saying to become a jerk or treat all women like trash. That's not it. What I'm saying is that you need to value yourself. Value yourself to the point where you never again accept being treated as a second option, as that plan B she turns to when she has nothing better to do. When you finally realize that she's not the last soda in the desert, that you can very well move on and find someone who truly respects and values you, that's when the game changes. From that moment on, the power returns to your hands. Let's be even more direct. As long as you keep crawling, she will keep stepping on you. This is a simple law. Why? Because she can. She knows you're there, begging for a chance, desperate to be noticed. But when you finally wake up and realize that the world is full of other opportunities, that she's nothing more than one among many, you set yourself free. And this freedom is what changes everything. And guess what happens when she realizes she's lost control? She will chase after you, not because you played some dirty game, but because you finally understood your own worth. When she sees that you're no longer available, that you're no longer there, waiting like a faithful puppy, she starts to wonder, what did I lose? Where did I go wrong? And that's when she starts to care. Because suddenly you're no longer that guy who's always available. You become a challenge, a mystery, something she can no longer control so easily. So, the next time you think about humiliating yourself for attention, remember this: you are replaceable, but so is she. The world is full of women who will truly value you, but you'll never find those opportunities if you stay stuck with someone who doesn't. Lift your head, adjust your crown, and move on, because the world is vast and full of possibilities, and the last thing you need is to cling to someone who sees you as an option. When you understand this, when you finally value yourself, you'll realize that she's the one who should be chasing after you. This change in mindset is what will make all the difference in your love life. Don't settle for crumbs. Don't accept less than you deserve. Because in the end, you're the one who controls the game. And when you realize this, you become unbeatable. It's time to take control of your life and make it clear that in this game, you're the one with the power, not her. So, move on and show the world that you know your worth, and that you're not willing to accept anything less than the best. If you want to learn how to use psychological tricks to get into that woman's mind and make her act the way you expect, seeking you out and thinking only of you, read the ebook in the description of this video. After this read, you'll learn how to use your cold side to deeply affect this woman and master the art of seduction. Stop being a doormat and start being the man she truly values. Number 3, don't let it affect you. Let's go, my friend. I'm going to give you the key that will get you out of this emotional maze where many women love to trap you. If there's one thing that completely destroys a woman's manipulative moves, it's your ability not to let it affect you. And I'll tell you a brutal truth. Many of them know exactly the power they have over men's emotions and don't hesitate to play with it. It's almost like a sport for them, a cruel game where you're the toy and she's the puppeteer. They test you, stretch the rope, provoke, waiting to see how far you'll go, how far you're willing to crawl to keep her around. And the more desperate and affected you show yourself, the more fun the game becomes for her. But look, the way out of this dirty game is much simpler than it seems. Don't let it affect you. That's right. The secret to getting out of this trap is to show that she has no and never will have any power over you. And it's not with empty words or promises that you do this. It's with actions. She decides to distance herself? Fine. Ignores you? Even better. Sends that venomous message just to see you squirm with anxiety? That's when you should be even more ruthless. Respond with politeness, but with the coldness of someone who couldn't care less about her games. Be kind but distant, as if you hadn't even noticed she tried to shake you. That's the trick. Act as if her behavior is irrelevant to you. Because, let's be honest, if she's playing with your feelings, that's exactly what her behavior is, irrelevant. Now, here's the catch. When you demonstrate this emotional stability, this cold blood that not even a storm can shake, you strike a blow to her ego. Because what did she expect? To see you running after her, squirming for a bit of attention? But what does she find? A man who simply moves on, impassive, as if nothing happened. And let me tell you, that destroys any attempt at manipulation she might have devised. This kind of indifference is a punch to her ego, because it breaks the cycle of emotional control she thought she had over you. But be careful here. Don't confuse this with pretending or playing hard to get. The point is not to be a jerk, but to be genuinely self-confident and secure enough that her actions have no impact on your well-being. You're not playing to provoke. You're acting this way because you truly know your worth, because you understand that her validation doesn't define who you are. And when she realizes that her tricks have no effect on you, the story changes completely. She starts questioning everything: her actions, her power over you, and especially whether she underestimated the kind of man you are. And let me tell you something else. If you can maintain this posture of firmness, not only will her view of you change, but the respect she feels for you will skyrocket. Because, let's be frank, what does she really want deep down? A man she can manipulate like a puppet, or someone who stands firm, who doesn't bow down to cheap emotional games? The answer is obvious. Respect and attraction go hand in hand, and when you show yourself unshakable, she has no choice but to see you in a completely new way. So the next time she tries to mess with you, remember, you're the one in control. It's not about winning or losing, but about refusing to play. You're the master of your emotional destiny, and when she realizes she can't manipulate you, that's when things change. She'll start chasing after you, trying to understand what happened, what changed, and more importantly, how she can win you back. In the end, the one who wins is you, for staying true to yourself, for keeping your dignity intact. And that, my friend, is what defines a real man. Number 4, moving on. Let's be serious. This is the point where many men stumble badly, but where you can really show what sets you apart from the rest. Moving on. It's as simple as that. When a woman starts acting weird, distancing herself, or worse, ignoring you, most guys go into panic mode. They start searching for explanations, trying to understand what's happening, doing everything they can to reverse the situation. But do you know what that does? It only reinforces what she already knows, that she has you in her hands, that you're willing to throw your dignity out the window just to try to hold on to something that, honestly, should have been left behind already. The reality is that most women are so used to being the center of attention, having a horde of admirers at their disposal, that finding a man who doesn't fall for these games is a shock to them. They don't know how to react, and that's where you have the chance to stand out, to show that you're not just another one of those desperate guys who crawl for scraps of attention. The most powerful move you can make is simple: move on. That's right. Make it clear that you have a sense of self-worth that is not for sale, that will not be negotiated by anyone. When you show that her immature behavior doesn't affect you, that you have other priorities, that your life goes on regardless, you put her in a position she's not used to. Because the truth is that when you move on, you're not just physically distancing yourself, you're sending a powerful message. I am not your toy. I am a man who knows what he wants and won't waste time with someone who doesn't know what they want. And here's the harsh truth. If she really has feelings for you but decides to play with your emotions, you have to choose. Either you join the dance and let yourself be manipulated, or you walk away, turn your back, and move on. And you know what? Moving on is your best card. Because when she realizes that her attempts to manipulate you, to keep you trapped in this spiral of uncertainty, aren't working, she feels the blow. And where does it hurt most? In the ego. Moving on doesn't mean you're insensitive or that you don't care. It means you value your peace, your dignity, and your time. It means you're a man who has goals, passions, and a life to live, and you won't allow anyone's emotional drama to stand in your way. And let's be frank, life is too short to waste on someone who doesn't know what they want, who thinks playing with your emotions is a fun pastime. And here's the irony. When she sees that you've really moved on, that you're no longer that guy she could manipulate with a look, something changes inside her. The power she thought she had disappears, and suddenly she's faced with a man who doesn't need her to be happy. This destabilizes her. Often it makes her question all her actions. And guess what? It's very likely that, upon realizing she's lost control over you, she'll try to come back. And then, my friend, the game has turned. Now the one who decides is you. You choose whether she still deserves a place in your life or if she's already lost that right. Therefore, move on. Don't look back. Show that you're strong enough to leave behind those who don't value you. By doing this, you not only value yourself, but also make room for truly worthy people to enter your life. Because in the end, you deserve someone who values you from the start, not someone who needs to lose you to realize what they had. This is the difference between those who live trapped in the past and those who have the courage to build a better future. Number 5, you're the one ignoring now. It's time to turn the tables, my friend. For too long, you've been the one who's always there, present, willing to give attention, even when all you received in return was, at best, a cutting coldness or an unsettling silence. But you know what's changed now? You. And no, this isn't revenge. It's a matter of setting boundaries, of showing that you're not a doormat who accepts any crumb thrown your way. You're no longer willing to tolerate mediocre treatment. If she doesn't value what you offer, then there is absolutely no reason to keep offering it. Let's be realistic. Any healthy relationship needs mutual respect, and that means reciprocity. If she ignores you, if she acts as if you're just one option among many, the logical and natural response is to reciprocate in kind. Not because you want revenge, but because you need to protect your dignity. When you decide that you won't tolerate disrespect anymore, something magical happens. She realizes that the game has changed, that the control is no longer in her hands. You're no longer that man she can manipulate as she pleases. Ignoring someone who ignores you isn't immaturity. It's a powerful way of showing that you know your worth. If she wants your attention, she'll have to earn it. If she's not willing to make that effort, why should you care? Life is based on reciprocity, and if she's not willing to offer the minimum of respect, then you have no obligation to continue investing your time, your energy, or your patience. When you adopt this posture, she'll notice something. You're a man who values himself, And believe me, that's incredibly attractive. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a strong sense of self-worth and who aren't afraid to walk away when they're not getting what they deserve. By ignoring her, you send a clear and powerful message. I know my worth, and if you can't see it, then that's your loss. This behavior not only protects your self-esteem, but also sets healthy boundaries. It shows that you're a man of principles who won't settle for being treated as a second option or, worse yet, as a backup plan. And guess what? When a woman realizes that she's lost control, that she can no longer treat you with indifference without consequences, she rethinks her attitudes. She starts to realize that if she wants to be with you, she'll have to earn it. She'll have to show that she values what you offer. So, don't hesitate to ignore her if she ignores you. This isn't about cheap games or manipulation, but about self-respect. If she can't treat you with the respect you deserve, then she doesn't deserve your attention. And when she realizes this, you can be sure that things will change. She'll think twice before repeating the same behavior, because no one wants to lose a man who knows his own worth. Now you're the one ignoring. You're the one who decides the rules of the game. And this, my dear, is the posture of a man who knows what he wants and who isn't willing to accept less than he deserves. Be firm, be unshakable, and above all, don't be afraid to show that you're the master of your destiny. She'll notice, and when that happens, you'll already be elsewhere, living your life without looking back. Because after all, those who value themselves never remain at the mercy of someone else's whims. Number 6, stop being a doormat and take control. Let's get straight to the point, because that's exactly what you need right now. Stop being a doormat. Yes, you heard that right. Every time you allow her to treat you as a second option, to ignore you, to belittle you, or simply to use you when it's convenient, you're behaving like a doormat. And what happens to doormats? They get stepped on. Constantly. Enough of that. It's over. It's time to wake up to reality. If you keep accepting scraps of attention, begging for any sign of affection, and subjecting yourself to being her plan B, you're basically signing your certificate of irrelevance. And I'll be even more brutal. No woman will respect a man who doesn't respect himself. If you don't assert yourself, if you don't set clear boundaries, if you don't show that you have value and deserve to be treated with at least some dignity, then you're putting yourself in the perfect position to be discarded as nothing. The hard truth is this: she doesn't respect you because you don't respect yourself. She ignores you because you allow yourself to be ignored. She plays with your feelings because she knows you'll be there, always available, ready to accept any scrap she decides to give. And as long as you keep being this guy, things won't change. Never. If you want her to value you, here's a not-so-mysterious secret. Value yourself first. Don't be the one who waits for leftovers, who settles for the minimum because it's better than nothing. If you think that way, you've already lost the game before it even started. Real men, men who know their worth, don't accept anything less than respect, consideration, and reciprocity. And if she's not willing to give you that, the solution is as simple as it is painful. Walk away. And I'll tell you more. It's not your responsibility to change her attitude or make her see how much you're worth. That's something she needs to realize on her own. And if she doesn't, that's her loss. Because a man who knows what he wants, who values himself, and who doesn't allow himself to be treated like trash, is a man who will find someone who truly deserves him. Here's the big truth. You're in control of your life, but you're acting like you're just a supporting character in her story. If you keep behaving like a doormat, that's how you'll be treated. But if you lift your head, set boundaries, and make it clear that you won't accept being treated any which way, respect and admiration will naturally follow. She may even realize that she's lost something valuable, or maybe not. But in the end, the one who truly wins is you. So stop being a doormat. Stop accepting less than you deserve. Take control, because at the end of the day, the only person who can change this situation is you. And if you don't do it, no one else will do it for you. Now, lift your head, dust yourself off, and go live the life you deserve. be the man who commands respect, who demands consideration, and who doesn't accept being stepped on by anyone. Do that, and you'll be surprised by the change in attitude from those around you. Because deep down, you've always deserved more. Now, it's just a matter of starting to demand it. Let's be direct. Life is too short for you to be groveling for someone who doesn't respect you. You need to stand up, value yourself, and make it clear to the world and to her that you're not just anyone. Accepting being treated as a second option, begging for attention, or settling for crumbs will only drag you down into a pit. And you know what's worse? No one will pull you out of there except yourself. It's time to stop living in the shadow of what could be and start living the reality of what you deserve. You are the master of your life, the author of your story. And this story doesn't need and shouldn't include someone who doesn't value you as you deserve. If she doesn't see your worth, then that's her problem, not yours. Move on with your head held high, because in the end, the one who needs respect is you, not her. Don't let anyone, I repeat, anyone diminish your worth or make you doubt what you deserve. If someone doesn't see it, too bad for them. You're not here to be stepped on, but to be respected. And if that means cutting ties with people who don't see your value, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, the person who has to look in the mirror and feel proud of what they see is you. So, take control, set your boundaries, and make it worth it. And remember, the one who sets the rules of your game is you. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You deserve more, and the world needs to understand that. If this video opened your eyes and gave you the push you needed, then leave your comment saying, "I deserve more." Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth. Let's go together, because here, there's only room for those who know they deserve the best. See you in the next video, my friend. And remember, you're the man, and no one can take that away from you.